This is the Diamond Hogs Podcast with Mason Choate and Robert Stewart.
Welcome to the Diamond Hogs Podcast. I'm your host, Mason Choate, joined by Robert Stewart and Christian Cheetham. You can't see him on the YouTube, but we have him today. Christian, say hi real quick. Make sure the mic works.
Hello.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
That's Christian. He's gonna be our producer today. So when we can't figure out stats because we're too stupid, that's what Christian's here for. Okay. Arkansas series win over Auburn. Very good for the RPI. Saturday's game, that's the one that they lost. That was a little iffy, but you look at it, Friday and Sunday, they scored runs.
Yeah, they did. 11 in the win Friday, 7. Was it 7 in the win Sunday? Yeah. So no shortage of clutch, timely hitting. We've heard this be a complaint in recent weeks. I think they had 6 hits with runners in scoring position Friday, 4 such hits on Sunday. So the bats came, delivered in clutch situations, and like you said, pretty good for the RPI. That was pretty much all the Auburn broadcasters seem to be focused on.
Yes, very biased Auburn broadcasters at that. That was, I don't know, man. It's just, I hate the people that complain about TV, but then I complain about TV, and that's just how it goes. That's the circle of life. So
that is one of the things that we take for granted as people who go to every home game.
Yes. Okay, before we get into everything, as always, need to remind you that you can find us on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. That is hitthatline.com, and type in Hit That Line wherever you get your podcasts, and you can find our podcast there and a lot of other stuff from Hit That Line, including the Morning Rush, Halftime, Trusting the Process with Ty Richardson, all that stuff. You can get it over at hitthatline.com, and go visit Hit That Line AR on Twitter for live updates during the game from Robert, and and your post-game recaps on hitthatline.com. And also go to HawgBeat.com for all of the Arkansas athletics coverage that you want. Please don't hit your mic while I'm talking.
So sorry.
Okay. And go to the HawgBeat YouTube. Robert. HawgBeat YouTube. Okay,
Right,
he pointed.
It's right there.
Christian, this is what you're here for. You need to keep Robert in check because I can't always do that. So HawgBeat YouTube, you can find the video version of the Diamond Hogs podcast there, and you can find other stuff like press conferences with Dave Van Horn, players, practice footage for football, recruiting breakdowns from Alex Trader, all that over at HawgBeat.com. Go check it out. Okay, and I guess we'll just do an ad read real quick for not even an ad read, just like go to ChinookSeedery.com, code DHP10 for 10% off your order. A lot of people reaching out to me about Chinook seeds. It spreads. They're really good, by the way. Christian, grab your mic. You had some Chinook seeds this weekend. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought they were really good. We were watching the game the other day on, what was it, Friday night?
Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah, I went through a whole bag of, was it the Parmesan ones?
Yeah, you were doing the Parmesan and pepper.
Yeah.
So Pete D'Alessandro, he told me that's his new favorite flavor. I still think the jalapeno ranch is my favorite. I haven't had the cinnamon toast yet, though, and I need to have the cinnamon toast.
I got to try the Parmesan and pepper, but I'm a big believer in the dill pickle still.
Okay.
They're the best tasting seeds in the world.
They are the best tasting seeds in the world, and if you want some of your own, go to ChinookSeedery.com and use code DHP10. Okay, speaking of Friday night's game, let's get into it. Arkansas gets the win. Wasn't the greatest outing from Connor Nolan, Robert?
No, it wasn't. It seemed like he struggled. I mean, he was cruising through 2. Got hit with a couple of unearned runs there in the 3rd. There was a throwing error on Jalen Battles, right? I've got E6 written down. I believe it's a throwing error.
And that was like one of, 4 on the weekend from Battles? He had 3 on Sunday.
No, there were 3 errors Sunday. He had 2 of them. So he had 3 on the weekend. Wallace made the first one.
That's
Sunday.
what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So 3 errors for Battles on the weekend. That was unusual. That first one was awfully costly. Put the Tigers up 2-0. Let 2 runs scamper across there, and then you were thinking it was going to be okay, but Nolan gave up 5 hits there in the 4th, and little did we know that would be his last inning. So his final stat line read 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and I believe that is his shortest outing of the year by length.
Yeah, and you look at it, I mean, after 4 innings, Arkansas's down 5-0, and you're sitting there like, here we go, the road struggles once again. Are you kidding me? And then the Hogs put up 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. That's some offense right there.
Yes, it is. And that 5th inning, we didn't know if we were going to see that offense from the Hogs because, it was 5-1, bases loaded, nobody out, and then Robert Moore hits a grounder to second base. Michael Turner's running from first to second. He sees the second baseman bobble the ball. He's not really sure which way to go, doesn't want to get called for interference, tries to get out of the way. Play doesn't get made, so it should be 5-2, bases loaded, nobody out, tying run at first. And after some decisions or some discussions on the field, it sounds like Turner's out for interference, even though that was exactly what he was trying to avoid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like that's now 2 weekends in a row that very questionable umpiring behind the plate and just in general across the entire field. I don't know why this just popped into my head, but Auburn's field, their ballpark, 385 to dead center, that's just a joke. I don't know how that team's not hitting 100-plus home runs a season.
Especially with old Sonny D weighing 260 pounds and hitting 420 and 430, whatever he's hitting. Okay,
we need to apologize because we pronounced his name wrong.
We did.
So it's Sonny DeShera, and I had no idea. I did not do my research. I didn't look at him. I didn't look at a picture of him. I didn't watch any film of him. I was shocked when I saw him come to the plate.
He's massive, and the Italian walk-up music, my goodness.
I liked his walk-up song, yeah. And for him to play first base, not the most flexible guy in the world. And there were a couple plays this weekend where Auburn got burned because of it.
Right. Yeah, and he wasn't that impressive at the plate either. I mean, he had 2 hits. Both of them were solo home runs. So, I mean, they carried some weight at the time. But, I mean, he struck out a lot of times. You kept hearing the Auburn broadcasters saying this was unusual for him. 3 Ks Friday, 2 Saturday, and 2 Sunday. So 7 on the weekend. And we've talked about this on this show before. Arkansas does a really, really good job of having a well-crafted approach for the number 1 hitter on the opposing team. And, I mean, they held him in check as per usual.
They did. Okay, so you look at it on Friday, there was a pair of 3-run bombs by Robert Moore and Jace Borfin, correct?
Borfin hit a 2-run shot to cut it to 6-4 in the 6th. That was important, and then they set 2 3-run shots up in the 7th and the 8th. Diggs had one to take the lead.
That's right.
In the 7th, and then Moore had one in the 8th to empty the ballpark and make it 11-6. I'm not certain of this, but right before the press conference started on Friday, Tom Murphy of the Democrat-Gazette said that it was the first game in SEC play this year, any team, in which both teams led the game by 5 runs at any point.
I mean, I don't know that it makes sense because what other game does that happen in?
That sounds entirely plausible.
Weird stat,
right?
That each team has a 5-run lead. Luckily for Arkansas, they ended the game.
They were the last team.
Yeah. So, but it was those 2 3-run homers that put them over the top, got the win. You look at it on the mound. Ramage came in for an inning. Evan Taylor, he gave up a couple earned runs, and then Tiger closed it down as per usual.
Evan Taylor was really good though. I mean, he was at 6 up, 6 down through the 7th inning, and then ran into a bit of trouble. Gave up back-to-back doubles in the 8th, but yeah, it was a good outing for Evan Taylor for sure. He ended up getting the win, right? Yeah, says he earned his 4th win of the year, and then like you said, Tiger took over. I mean, he's something else. I was watching the game with my grandma this week, and she doesn't really watch many games, but she was a big Brady Tiger fan.
Yeah. Saturday was the first time we had seen him give up a run in a while, though.
We'll get into that in a second, but he seemed like he was not himself on Saturday.
No, it was a little weird. But yeah, so Friday, 11-8. Even though you don't get your best stuff from Connor Nolan, you get the win, and that's the most important thing. And you're looking at it, the biggest thing going into this weekend for Arkansas was don't get swept. Because you get swept, Auburn's number 1 in the SEC West.
You really needed to win it.
You needed to win at least one game, and then the series. They didn't win the series, but you're looking at it after this Friday game. Not only do you feel good about the fact that you won, but you feel good about the fact that you scored 11 runs.
Right.
After all week long, hearing it after the Missouri State game. You only had 2 hits going into the 8th. You lose the game to Missouri State, and why can't this team hit? What's going on? Hey, we're going to score 11 runs and shut everybody up.
Right. They got the leadoff man aboard 6 times in that game, scored 4 of those innings, and then with runners in scoring position, they were 6 for 13. So that's a big improvement over. Oh gosh, I don't have the Missouri State stats in front of me, but
that's what we got Christian here for.
That's what we got Christian here. Christian, do
pull
you have
the
Missouri State
stats.
RASP?
He's pulling it up. We'll get that.
But look at it compared to Ole Miss. Friday 0 for 4, Saturday 1 for 5, Sunday 1 for 5. So 2 for 14 on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then they get 13 at-bats in one game, 1 fewer in 2 fewer games, and have 6 hits, which is 4 more than they did the entire weekend before. So that's a big improvement for situational hitting, which has been, as we've heard on Twitter, a huge complaint.
Christian, do you have it?
No.
Okay.
It's not all that important.
No, it's really not. But that's what he's here for. And we'll get to that later. Anyways, Friday, let's see your takeaways. First game, you said that Nolan shortest outing. You said that. Good thing, interference. You said that. You have anything else about Friday's game?
I mean, if you can use if Noland ever falters like that again, then you should feel pretty good because you've got a fresh Evan Taylor and a fresh Brady Tigert in theory.
Yeah.
I mean, things are going to change come SEC, NCAA tournament. Things get, you have to play a lot more often. But in theory, for these next 2 weeks, you should probably win both of the next Friday nights.
Okay. You good? Yeah, grab the mic.
I was just going to say, the big thing I noticed was that Diggs' home run well over the right field wall, not a little Mickey Mouse home run like some of the Auburn players this weekend.
I was listening on the radio, so I couldn't tell for sure. But, I mean, our newest friend of the podcast really representing us well.
Yes, I mean, I tweeted it out. It is statistically proven that when you come on this podcast, you perform better on the field.
Right.
Aside from the fact that Evan Taylor had a rough outing last weekend, but it's okay.
Right.
We'll forget about that.
He came into Sunday's game, I think 1 for 6 in the series, and they were like, well, he hasn't done all that well, but that's a really loud 1 for 6. I mean, the one was the biggest hit of Friday's game. So
yeah. But yes, like Christian said, and I mentioned it before, you should be hitting 100+ home runs out of that ballpark. Because it was, 315 down the line?
Yeah, it was very Fenway-esque in left field, right?
Yeah.
Short pole, tall wall. I mean, the double that Caden Wallace hit on Sunday afternoon, any other park, that's a dinger.
And a lot of the Auburn home runs were barely sneaking over the field and right, which is like 320 maybe.
And you would think the greatest center fielder that Dave Van Horn has ever had would be able to make those plays.
Well, a few of those, he wasn't over there. It was whoever was in right field that day because they switched in and out a few times. But, yeah, let's get into Saturday's game, though. So Hagen Smith, I don't know, man.
I didn't think he was bad.
You got 4 innings out of him on the road, which is better than what you've seen from him on the road. I think this was probably his best road performance of the year. You think?
This is up there.
Because Stanford, that's technically road, and then Florida, he got burned, and then A&M. They won that game that he started against A&M, right?
Yes, they did. But I was thinking about the Missouri game as well. He threw 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. I would argue that this was better, even though he did throw 1 fewer inning. I mean, the issue that we've seen with him, and this is a recurring theme, right, is his pitch count. Like, it's not even when he's having a good day by his standards, he's still having to use 15 to 20 pitches to get through any given inning, and that has been kind of problematic. I think he was at 81 after 4, but I mean, he gave up a total of 3 hits. 2 of them were solo shots. Those aren't going to kill you. I say that time and again. I believe that. I do. And he pitched really effectively, got himself into a jam in the first inning, walking a hit batter, 3 consecutive outs after that, couple of leadoff home runs in the second and third. Didn't really have any trouble after that, and then worked around a 1-out walk in the 4th. Ended his day on a strikeout. So
yeah.
I didn't think he was bad. He just used too many pitches.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it, but after the first 2 innings, he was at like 50 pitches. I think it was 49, maybe 48.
I think it was 48. I think I remember seeing the graphic say 20 in the first and 28 in the second.
Yeah. So that, I mean, when that happens, then you know you're going to be limited to how much longer you're going to be going. But you get 4 innings out of him, and then Vermillion comes in, gives you 2 1/3.
That was Zebulon Vermillion's best outing in
A while.
at least a month or a month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cruising there. He just like Taylor the day before, 6 up, 6 down, ran into a little bit of trouble in his third inning of work, gave up a 1-out home run, then another hit, got pulled. But again, this is a game where Arkansas only has 3 hits, so I'm not going to crucify Vermillion for giving up the game-tying home run. Like, I realize that's a tight situation, but he pitched really, really well, and people need to give him credit for those 2 scoreless innings that he started his outing with.
Okay, so when did Vermillion come out?
So Foster led off the 7th with a foul out. Rambush, the leadoff guy, hit a 1-out home run. Case and Howell, the 2-hitter, singled. And then right before Teixeira,
What inning is this?
the 7th.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
I'm pretty sure I said the 7th.
Did he? He doesn't know.
It was the 7th.
Okay.
The listeners can be the jury on this one. Sonny Teixeira was they pulled him right before Sonny Teixeira. Brady Tigert struck him out looking. Brady Tigert, coming in for his second straight appearance, was really, really strong through about 3.5 hitters. He struck the first 3 guys out, 2 of them to work around that single Vermillion allowed in the 7th. So you're looking at a 3-3 game, bottom 8. Strikes out LaRue, who had 2 doubles the day before, I want to say. Yep. And then he's pitching 1 out to Brooks Carlson, has him down 0-2, and then he loses him and walks him. That's when things went bad.
So, what was the score when Vermillion came out?
3-3.
Okay, so that's what I was curious about. So Vermillion goes out. It's a 3-3 ball game, and that's when things fell apart, as you mentioned. That's when Auburn puts up the runs that win the game.
Right. So there was a walk after the 0-2 count that I mentioned, right? Single by Brody Moore. So you got corners, 1 out. Tigert's looking really tired by this point. I don't know. He just. I feel like after he lost that 1 hitter, he totally lost his command. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Who, Tigert?
Yeah.
I think as you mentioned, he just didn't. It wasn't the same Brady Tigert we were used to. He was like holding himself on the mound, like he looked like he had it.
Right.
But
He always does.
But it just didn't feel right. They were making contact against him, which is not something that normally happens. Is usually batters aren't making much contact against Brady Tigert.
Right.
And unfortunately, it happened. And then I think somebody commented on one of my Twitter posts and said this loss was on Brady Tigert. It's all his fault. I'm like, I don't.
Arkansas had 3 hits.
Yeah.
Spare me with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, corners, 1 out. Mason Land, they bring in the pinch hitter. Everybody, I think, in the ballpark can see this bunt coming. It wasn't all that great of a bunt. I mean, it was right to Tigert. He did have to spin around, and he didn't have a lot of time to make the play, but I think he had more time than he realized because he shanked that throw pretty badly, and that was a tough way to go out for him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at Saturday's game. I don't know, man. That 2-run 8th inning for Auburn, and you knew going into the top of the 9th, it just didn't feel like Arkansas had it. As you mentioned, they had 3 hits on the day, and in the top of the 9th is just 3 up, 3 down. That's the ball game. Let's see. Battles, strikeout, Wallace fly out, Turner fly out, and that's the ball game. And it's just at the time you didn't feel super confident because the past 2 times you've gotten Wiggins on the road, it has not been good. So you're thinking, well, we're going into tomorrow. Wiggins is going to start. What's going to happen? Because you need that win. And Saturday you had it. Like the game was there. You give up 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And what did Dave Van Horn say? He had a couple good quotes yesterday. You remember? Or Saturday?
I thought that was his worst press conference of the year, honestly.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Sorry.
Okay. Before we get to, all right, you have anything else from Saturday? It was a loss.
Yeah, loss 5-3. What else did I write? Yeah, we got to everything. Christian, what you got?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the 3 hits was bad.
That's the only thing in my mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't put that one on the pitchers. If you get 3 hits, you can't expect to win a game.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, it feels like the top of the lineup just has not been there all for a lot of games. Aside from the fact that Moore did have 2 of the RBI, he didn't have a hit, and so I think one of the key takeaways from those first 2 games was Robert Moore is starting to make more contact. He had the 3-run homer on Friday, and then Saturday he has 2 RBI, and so he's no longer just like fouling out and striking out. It's Robert Moore.
Right. I definitely haven't made up my mind for weekend MVPs yet, but there are a lot of good choices this week, I think.
Okay. Christian, you have anything else to add? No? All right. Okay. Robert, tell them about Chinook Seeds before we move forward.
They're the best tasting seeds in the world. I mean, you've been listening to this podcast for the past, 2-3 weeks. You should know that by now. I love the dill pickle seeds. I was really tired during Saturday's game, and so to keep myself awake, I decided to start having some seeds, and it kept me awake. It was brilliant, and I think anybody who has trouble with staying awake, sunflower seeds are a very, very underrated way of doing so.
I do the sunflower seeds when I'm driving. A lot of people like chew gum or listen to loud music. That doesn't work for me. I got to do sunflower seeds. And prior to discovering Chinook Seeds, I would use the name brand seeds. Like, I'm not going to mention names, but you know the ones I'm talking about. And they would just, like, I can only do like 1 or 2 handfuls, and like my mouth,
salty.
They were too salty. My mouth would just hurt. And that's one of the good things about Chinook Seeds. Like, that's one of the things that they hang their hat on is it doesn't make your mouth hurt. They call it sandpaper tongue. It doesn't give you sandpaper tongue. And they have enough flavor to be really good, but not too much to just be disgusting. And so that's what it is with Chinook Seeds, and you can use code DHP10 at checkout when you go to ChinookSeedery.com to order some. I think I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I know a lot of people have ordered using our code, so you should as well. I pulled up the stats here for weekend MVP, but let's get to Sunday's game. 7-4 win, and you get it from Wiggins, man. 5 innings.
Yeah, you mentioned just a minute ago that you didn't feel super confident going into Sunday's game just based on the way that Jackson Wiggins has performed on the road recently. You could tell Sunday that he was pitching for a spot in the order, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, at another really costly error. 2 walks to 6 strikeouts. That's a lot better ratio than he's been working with recently. So, and I think he got close to or right above 90 pitches. So I think you heard Dave Van Horn after the game say that he went out there and did everything we wanted him to do today. So
yeah,
I mean, got his 6th win of the year. That's a really big statement outing for Jackson Wiggins, I think.
I think so. And in the first, he gives up a 2-run bomb, and you're thinking, here we go again with Wiggins on the road. And
because he gave up 2 more hits after that.
Yeah, like the first inning was rough for him. How many pitches did he throw in the first inning? Do you know off the top of your head?
It was probably 20 at least.
It was okay. But either way, it felt like Hagen Smith again, because the first 2 innings he had thrown 40+ pitches, and you knew that. I mean, some people were on the HawgBeat message board, the trough. Some people were saying you need to pull Wiggins now.
Right, and I want to make it clear that was hardly Jackson Wiggins' fault. I mean, I think Dave Van Horn said it during the broadcast that the defense made him throw probably 15, 20 extra pitches today. The second batter of the game, Caden Howell, hit a routine grounder to Caden Wallace. He just kind of took his time, didn't set his feet, and pulled Brady Slavens off the base at first. That was a really lazy error. Like, there's not really such a thing as a good error, but that was a bad error.
The Caden Wallace one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
he just all you had to do was plant your feet, because right. Caden Wallace can throw a 95-mile-an-hour heater to first.
Exactly. And DeShera struck out right after that, so that should have been the 3rd out. Bobby Pierce, who hit the home run, shouldn't have even come to the plate. So tough break for Wiggins there, but I feel like he responded really well.
He did. I didn't expect him to go 5 innings, but he goes 5 innings. You said right out above 90 pitches. He threw exactly 90 pitches. Had 6 strikeouts. What innings was it that he went 6 up, 6 down? Was it the 4th and the 5th?
Yeah, so he faced the minimum through in the fourth and the fifth. Strikeout, strikeout in the fourth, fly out, walk, 4.63
double play
to face the
So
minimum.
he faced the minimum. That's what it was. Okay.
That's a really good way to go out.
It was a good way to go out. Because that's what you needed from Wiggins. If you can get 5 innings from your Sunday starter, that's what you needed. And I feel like maybe he heard the noise all week was Wiggins doesn't need to be the Sunday starter. We need someone else to start Sunday. And I think he shut a lot of people up.
Well, regardless of if he heard the noise or not, I mean, he's got to feel the pressure from him inside the locker room, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were told from sources that Jackson Wiggins had a meeting with the coaches, and it's like, we're going to see how you throw on Thursday and then make a decision. I don't know how true that is. It's from a trusted source, and you got to be glad that they went with Wiggins on Sunday because you get the 5 innings, and then before we get to what Arkansas did at the plate, Will McIntyre.
Big SEC debut for Will McIntyre.
I think the consensus is Big Mac. Let me go to I posted a poll on Twitter.
Evan Taylor has weighed in. His opinion is Will the Thrill McIntyre.
We're sitting at 50% between Willie Mac and Big Mac.
I feel like Big Mac flows better. I don't know. Are we going to get him an NIL deal with McDonald's or?
That would be pretty good. I have already declared Will McIntyre the 2023 Golden Spikes Award winner. Congratulations, Will McIntyre.
Wonder what the odds are on that. Can you go ahead and place a bet?
I doubt you can do futures on the Golden Spikes Award.
I mean, even opening next year, it's probably really, really long odds.
I doubt he would even be on the list.
Probably not.
But as I said, congratulations, Will McIntyre. You win.
You should get to take ownership of the entire city of Las Vegas if he wins the 2023 Golden Spikes.
If he wins the 2023 Golden Spikes, that we need it. So you know how like people do Heisman campaigns for people. Next season we need to do a Golden Spikes campaign for Will McIntyre. But yeah, 3 1/3 gives up 3 hits, so he kind of fell apart there at the end. But through 2 innings, faced the minimum. No, he gave up a single at one point, didn't he?
He walked the. When are you talking about? 4th and 5th?
I'm talking about his first 2 innings.
First 2 innings.
Yeah.
So there was the home run in the first, right? 2 singles after that, struck out, no problem. And then the 2-out walk. He almost had a 1-2-3 in the second, issued a 2-out walk, and then got a fly ball to right after that.
You're talking about McIntyre, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, there was.
Who were you talking about?
Jackson Wiggins.
Dude, we were just talking about McIntyre the whole time.
Lost. I know. Yeah, there was a single in the 6th. But yeah, he retired 9 of his first 10 batters.
Yes.
Will McIntyre, just to be clear, that's who we're talking about.
Yes. Gosh. And then it fell apart there at the end.
Yeah, gave up a couple of hits in the 9th, but Evan Taylor got the day off Saturday, came in, saved the day Sunday.
Yes. Oh, I'm not in the camera anymore. Anyways, yeah, so, okay, we talked about the pitching. I think Will McIntyre, that was a big story. A lot of people, when talking about the Sunday starter conversation, if it's not Wiggins, who is it? I think McIntyre has made your decision for you after that. And I think Dave Van Horn made the decision, too. Like, it's going to be Wiggins moving forward, but in the scenario of it's not Wiggins, it's McIntyre. Or Morris.
Well,
It's not going to be Taylor because they're going to have him out of the bullpen.
Right. You only saw 2 innings from Morris this weekend. I think McIntyre definitely emerged as the leading contender because, I mean, you think about it, not going to have to really worry about it the next 2 weeks. But, I mean, we've talked about this before. Once you get to Hoover, once you get to regionals, once you get to supers, well, not necessarily supers, that's only a 3-game set. But Hoover and regionals, you have the possibility of playing more than 3 games at a time.
Yeah.
So you're going to need a 4th starter.
Also, Dave Van Horn said after the game on Sunday that they pulled McIntyre early from the game on Tuesday against Missouri State because they wanted to see him this weekend. And I think that's a big thing that they were planning ahead. Hey, we want to see him in SEC play. None of this midweek stuff. We want to see him in SEC play. And now you have another right-handed guy out of the bullpen, which is what you needed because Vermillion has not been consistent as of late.
Right.
You have Tigert, but you need someone who can do middle relief.
Right. And that wasn't just any old SEC team, right? I mean, that's a hungry Auburn Tigers team, a team that was projected going into the weekend to host a super regional should they get past regionals.
Projected over Arkansas, right?
Correct. They were D1 baseball 6 seed. Arkansas was 9.
D1 baseball already had Auburn winning that series.
I think they very much counted the Hogs out.
Even though I think we talked about this. I don't know if it was with you or with Pete and Christian. D1 baseball, they had Auburn as the 6th seed, right? But all of their staff in their weekend predictions picked Arkansas, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look at it. Christian, did you look at the graphic?
I never looked it up, but I think Pete was the one that said that the other day. Yeah.
So it's like, how are you going to predict Auburn to be a 6 seed over Arkansas, but then predict Arkansas to win the series? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
It doesn't. I mean, I guess, gosh, it must have something to do with RPI because they kept showing the mystery graphics on the broadcast, right? And they showed the two teams' records when they had them in the scorebook. And it was like, this is not a mystery.
Yeah.
Let's not play guessing games here.
Yeah. Christian texted me and he was like, this mystery graphic is pretty dumb. And I was like, it's very obvious that it's Arkansas and Auburn.
And they did it 2 days in a row.
It's the two teams playing in the game. I feel like everybody watching this game probably understands who the two mystery teams are. Also, you have the records of the teams literally on the game. So,
whatever.
Yeah. Okay, we got to talk about how Arkansas scored runs on Sunday though.
Early and often.
Let's not do our play-by-play, Robert. That bores me to death. Just say what happened.
Okay. Caden Wallace came up with a big RBI double to tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 of those in Sunday's game and 4 doubles on the weekend, so I imagine he's a pretty strong MVP candidate. Let's see, Battles got him on the board with the RBI ground out, and then Wallace had the RBI double to tie it. Braden Webb 3-run shot in the 3rd, puts him up 5-2. They never surrender that lead. There was a DeShera home run off of Wiggins to make it 5-3, and then runs in the 5th and 6th. Webb gets hit by pitch, scores on another RBI double by Wallace, and sac fly by Battles makes it 7.
Yes.
Was that quick and sufficient for you?
It was. Arkansas, so was it last weekend that it was live by the home run, die by the home run?
Yes, it was. I mean, because they scored all of their runs on home runs.
Okay. This weekend, live by the 3-run home run, die by the 3-run home run. Friday, you win on a pair of 3-run home runs.
Right.
Sunday, you win on a 3-run home run.
It did prove to be the game-winning home run. Yes, that is true. But, I mean, like I said earlier, they had 4 hits with runners in scoring position. I mean, that was big.
Wait, didn't they leave 14 runners on base, though?
Yes, they did. 4 hits is important, but they also had 16 at-bats, so 250 isn't, like, super impressive or anything. That 16 at-bats with runners in scoring position, I checked right before this episode, it's the second most at-bats with RISP in SEC games this year.
Wow. I was listening to Phil Elson on my way to the studio after the game.
That's how you got here so quickly.
Yeah. What?
Because you were listening to the end of the game in the car?
No.
Oh, never mind.
I was listening to his post-game show.
Gotcha.
And he mentioned Arkansas left 14 runners on and had 3 errors, am I right, on Sunday? And he's like, when you read 14 runners on and 3 errors, you don't think that team won the game.
Right. It definitely helps when those 2 numbers are preceded by 7 runs and 13 hits.
Yeah. 2 of the errors from Battles, man. What the heck? But Dave Van Horn said it like he had the error there in the bottom of the 9th.
He was like, hit it to him again.
And
he's not going to boot the second one.
Hit it to him again. Sure enough, they hit it to him again, turned the double play.
6-4-3, ball game, series, division advantage, Arkansas.
Yes. So I think, and A&M lost to South Carolina. So right now, Arkansas is comfortably in the driver's seat in the West.
Well, I mean, no ground got made up. Both Arkansas and A&M won their series 2-1.
But Arkansas still leads.
Correct.
Arkansas
came in with a 2-game lead.
Yeah.
They're leaving with a 2-game lead, which is pretty important considering that the total number of games left just went from 9 to 6.
And you don't have to worry about Auburn anymore.
Right. You've got the tiebreaker over Auburn. Got the tiebreaker over LSU, who also won their series.
Okay. We'll get into more of that later. But anything else from Sunday's game before we move ahead, Robert?
What did I write down? Still 2 games up. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You've got a multi-game lead. I mean, at this point, you control your own destiny, and that's the most important thing.
Okay. Christian, you have anything else to add from Sunday's game? Okay. My biggest takeaway was just Will McIntyre.
Yeah.
Will McIntyre. Okay, let's see what the poll's at now, because it was at 50-50. I feel like it can't be sitting at 50-50. Okay, Big Mac has taken the lead. So we're going with Big Mac for right now. Big Mac.
I kind of like Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill. That one's good. What did John Neighbors tweet out? He tweeted out one about Will McIntyre. I can't remember. Yeah, Christian, you find that while we move ahead to our weekend MVPs.
Yeah, let's do it.
While Christian finds out what John Neighbors tweeted about Will McIntyre, let's look at weekend MVPs. Robert, I think I went first last weekend. You got it? Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I think you did.
Sorry, he said more like Mac and Fire. Am I right?
Yeah, okay. Mac and Fire. You like that one?
Does he have the velocity to back that up?
No. He sits like 90, 89, 90.
I mean, if he's throwing gas by everybody, I can get behind that.
Yeah, but he's not. Okay. So you're gonna go with Will the Thrill. I like Willie Mac. Maybe it's because that's the one I came up with. Christian, that means you have to go with Big Mac by default. Okay. Weekend MVPs presented by the Encore Group. Robert, you can go first.
I might surprise some people with this one, but I'm going to go with Bob Moore.
Bob Moore.
He had a very big night Friday with the 3-run homer to sort of put it out of reach. He also had a bunt single to the pitcher, which created a run in the 7th inning. Again, I was listening to that one in the car, so I didn't see what happened, but it was my understanding that he was up, Turner was on second, nobody out, bunt, and then Turner scores on an error by the pitcher. That made it 6-5, and then his home run made it 11-6, so that was big. He produced a lot of the offense in Game 2, which was pretty lacking offensively as a team. So had a couple of productive outs, RBI ground out, and a sac fly to drive in 2 of the 3 runs, and then he set up the inning in which Braden Webb went yard for the 3-run shot. He led off that frame with a double, was 2 for 6 in the finale. So that was, I mean, that double he had in the 3rd was pretty important in the grand scheme of things. And so for that reason, Bob Moore, 4 for 13, 5 RBI, 3 runs. He's my weekend MVP.
Okay. Christian, I'm going to have you go after me, so get ready. I'm going to go with Caden Wallace.
That's a good choice. 4 doubles.
5 for 15, 4 doubles, 3 RBI. Sunday, his 2 RBI doubles were huge. Struck out 3 times, and there was a couple times where it was a little questionable, or it's like, come on, Caden, just swing the bat. Walked once, but I think Caden Wallace, this is the Caden Wallace that you expected coming into this season, a guy that when he comes up to the plate with runners in scoring position, you expect him to get hit. And that's what he did, especially on Sunday. And it feels like he was that Caden Wallace that you're counting on to get the big hit when you need it. And I think right now, of anybody in the lineup, who do you trust more to get a big hit than Caden Wallace?
Right, and especially on Sunday in a game of that magnitude, for him to come through with 2 different RBI doubles, that's really big.
Yeah. Okay, Caden Wallace, you are my weekend MVP. Okay, Christian, go ahead with your weekend MVP. I have this stat sheet here, by the way. If you want to read off that might be easier for you.
Sure. So on Friday, I was really leaning towards Diggs, obviously with that big 3-run home run, and kind of some recency bias with some big hits from him lately. But and then I was kind of following him throughout the weekend, just a bunch of walks, a lot of good ABs. I was texting you, Mason, a lot. You know, he's fighting at bats, he's fighting for a spot in the lineup. So for a while, I was kind of leaning towards Diggs, just to have like a different pick. And then Webb had a great game today with that 3-run shot. And I know he didn't play on Saturday, I don't think. So it kind of took him out of the MVP for me. But
Wait, Webb?
Did he not play on Saturday?
He was 1 for 3 on Saturday.
You didn't hear much from him on Saturday. But
okay.
4 for 10, though.
He had an RBI.
Yeah.
He had the other RBI on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, so, and then McIntyre's performance today, I mean, obviously it was just 1 appearance, but 3 innings, I mean, 3 1/3. I kind of am leaning towards McIntyre just from that performance. It's just going forward after this weekend, it's like we know that we have him in our back pocket if Wiggins needs to be relieved or something like that. So co-MVPs, I'm going to go with Diggs and McIntyre just to be a little different. Diggs is fighting some at-bats this weekend. I really like to see that.
Diggs and McIntyre.
Good thing we do a batter and a pitcher, so
yeah,
you got your 2 out of the way there.
There you go. Okay, Robert, who's your pitcher MVP?
Oh, man.
Also, you just stole mine. I was going to go McIntyre. Thanks a lot.
I think I have to go with Jackson Wiggins.
Okay.
For him to realize what I guess that he was on the hot seat and deliver. That was important. I think this is. I mean, Dave Van Horn said, "I think he's back." So, I think that, coming out today, getting that win, getting back in the win column for the first time in 3 weeks, hasn't won a game since the LSU series. He really needed that for himself, and I mean, it was an important outing for the Razorbacks too, because they were able to run up the score early. I mean, they were up 5-2 after 2.5 innings, so that gave him some confidence to pitch with. They were more confident at the plate, I'm sure, because of his confidence on the mound. I mean, that stuff just radiates, and I mean, the winner, the winning pitcher of your rubber match win, it's Jackson Wiggins. So that's an easy MVP choice for me.
For me, it's tough because I want to go Tigert, but you look at Saturday's outing, that was tough. But Friday, I mean, he was really good. I guess he led the team with 7 strikeouts on the weekend. It's between him or Vermillion. I think I'm going to go with Tigert, though, just because of Friday's outing.
I would have gone with Taylor, but
Evan Taylor? I mean,
a win and a save.
I didn't know he got the win.
Okay. He got the win in the Friday game? Yes.
Okay. Well, this isn't your weekend MVP, is it?
You're right. It's not.
Well, you guys took the 2 good ones, so.
You're right.
Brady Tigert, he's that guy. That's what you saw this weekend. He's still that guy, even though Saturday happened. I think he's one of the most elite arms out of the bullpen in the country right now, and he's somebody that Arkansas is lucky to have in their back pocket moving forward, especially with postseason right around the corner. So congratulations, Brady Tigert. Come on the podcast.
Yeah, and
weekend MVP.
And you know what? He's allowed to have a bad outing too. Yeah. He's had a string of so many good ones that nobody should jump on him for losing that game.
What, first earned run since the Florida series, I think?
I believe that.
I think I read that. Okay, let's see here. Our weekend MVPs were brought to you by the Encore Group. We have exciting news from the Encore Group at RE/MAX Elite, Robert.
Breaking news.
Matt Grissom just found out he's received the Torchbearer Award. You know what that means?
Does it mean he goes above and beyond?
Well, he does that, but it means that he's one of the top 40 real estate agents under 40 within all of RE/MAX nationwide.
How about that?
Guess how many agents that's out of?
Thousands.
135,000 agents. And he's top.
I didn't know it was that many thousands.
He's top 40 under 40. That's pretty freaking good.
Good stuff.
That is. And that's only achievable with a proven track record of getting results for his clients time and time again. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, visit sellingarkansas.com and let Matt and his team show you why they're the best of the best when it comes to selling real estate in Central Arkansas. We have a strong listening base in Central Arkansas, so I know some of you are trying to sell your home. And why would you not go to the guy that's top 40, under 40, within 135,000 agents? It's pretty good odds.
Why would you not do that?
That would be like, I think Matt Grissom is the Brady Tigert of real estate agents. You think that's a good comparison?
Sure.
Of all relief pitchers in all of college baseball?
Sure.
He's a guy that I'd like to go to. And you should go to Matt Grissom as well. That's sellingarkansas.com. Okay, SEC standings. Actually, no, I have a couple questions.
Let's do it.
And comments. First of all, I had a comment from somebody who DM'd me. I'll leave, because they DM'd me, I'll leave their name out of it. But is there any concern with Nate Thompson going forward? Just seems like the hitting has declined over the past couple of years. I'll go ahead and answer that, boys. You look at it, 11 runs on Friday and 7 runs on Sunday. Question answered.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of discourse on Twitter about Nate Thompson and the role that he plays, and until they start finding ways to lose games as opposed to finding ways to win games like they're currently doing, I'm not going to worry about his role with this team.
Okay. I feel like that was an easy one. Let's see. Someone has a concern. This is from at Swifty1281, and username is HogFan1281. They have a concern that there's too many strikeouts with bats on our shoulders.
Saw that one.
That's understandable.
Let's see if we can count them up here. Go talk in the meantime. I'm gonna need some time.
Okay, you're going to count them up. On the same topic, what changed at the plate for the Hogs this weekend? I saw a lot of first pitch strike swinging. I texted you about that, Christian. There was a lot of first pitch strike swinging, which is good because you looked at it. There were a lot of times previously, especially in the Missouri State game because that's most recently, but there were a lot of times where they watched strike one to strike two. They're down 0-2. And why would you watch those and just not swing at one of them? And so you saw that, especially from Caden Wallace. He's a guy that I know I watched him first pitch strike swing a lot. And I think that's a good sign. As far as what changed as a whole, I don't really think anything changed. I think it's the same Razorback team. They just started hitting the ball. It's just baseball. It's just baseball.
It is one of the most brutally inconsistent games out there, and as a big fan of consistency myself, I know it's frustrating, but that's how it goes.
They did change the lineup a little bit.
Right.
Also, they were
five.
playing.
That was interesting.
Also, they were playing in one of the smallest ballparks in the country.
Right.
So that helps with hitting too.
Tallied it up, 11 looking Ks.
Oh man.
On the weekend.
That's inexcusable.
I
will
total
say
strikeouts on the weekend, 23. So almost half were looking.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. This is from Ben Devine. Who are the Arkansas Razorbacks and why are they so good at the sport of baseball? I'm not going to answer that. Love you, Ben, though. I think he's a loyal listener.
I think he is.
What will our RPI have to be to get a top 8 national seed? I saw the graphic that Tulane was the highest in a while. They were 21, right?
In the super regional era, which is like 1999 to present, I think, the highest number, like not closest to 1, but highest numerically is the highest RPI was 21, yeah.
Yeah, and Arkansas was at 25 during Sunday.
Before the end of Sunday's game.
Okay. You got to think a win over Auburn, that helps your RPI quite a bit.
Yeah, because Auburn's RPI was what, top 10, top 5?
I don't know.
It was up there. It was a single digit. 4? Thank you, Christian.
That's why Christian's here.
Yep.
Because I would have just said, I don't know, we would have moved on.
Yeah, 4. That's not insignificant. To pick up a road series win against the number 4 RPI team, that's got to help it out. Also, I mean, we were talking about this before we started recording, but like, just keep winning series. Don't worry about what the RPI is. You don't have any control over the RPI. You have control over beating 2 teams left on your schedule that at best are 500 in conference play.
Yeah.
So win 4 out of those 6, clinch your SEC West, be a top 2 seed in Hoover, make some noise there. You're not going to have any problem being in the top 8.
Yeah, confirmed Auburn. Is this still before Sunday's game, or is that after Sunday's game? If Arkansas is still at 25, then it's the same thing. Is Arkansas still? Oh, Arkansas is at 28 on that list. I thought it said on the TV they were 25.
It did.
I don't trust SEC network graphics, anyways.
I don't think it's worth anybody's time to pay attention to the RPI until maybe halfway through Hoover.
I disagree with you. I think you're coming down the home stretch. You got 2 more series left. This is time to start thinking about it. If we were a month away, I agree.
They have no control over it.
A month back.
They have no control over it.
They do have control. Win games. That's how you control it.
Right.
But they don't control how good their opponent is. I get that.
Right. The whole, however it works, like all you need to do is win games.
I think it's based on how good your opponents are. What does RPI stand for, Christian? Does it say that on there?
Something power index, probably.
RPI.
I feel like we should know this. We've been working in college sports long enough.
Rating percentage index was adopted by the NCAA many years ago to rank teams based on their strength of schedule. See? It's all based on strength of schedule.
So Arkansas has no control over that.
Well, schedule better teams that aren't in-state crappy teams.
Okay, sure. But also, those games don't matter.
Go ahead.
Is that what it is, the midweeks? Is that what would kill us with RPI?
It's that and the fact that your SEC schedule has not been as good as it has been.
Well, I mean,
the teams have sucked.
Think about why Auburn's is so good. They've got Arkansas on the schedule. Arkansas is a top 5 team. They
Yeah,
got
but that-
Tennessee they got a road series with Tennessee on the schedule. That
that's-
probably drives it up.
But that's based on who they had played up to that point. It wasn't based on who they have on the schedule as a whole.
No, well, they've already played Tennessee, right? And they
Yeah.
played Ole Miss when they were number 1. I mean,
You look at it, Arkansas played unranked A&M, unranked Ole Miss,
that's the thing is
unranked
Auburn.
Florida, unranked Mississippi State.
This is week 8 of the SEC season, and Auburn was just the second-ranked opponent. Like, it's
Wow.
not Arkansas's fault that those teams fell out of the top 25. A&M should have been ranked, we think, when Arkansas played them. Mississippi State was the reigning national championship. That was a shock to see them not come into Fayetteville unranked. I mean, who else? Who else am I missing?
They played Stanford in Round Rock.
Eh,
But that was the only other ranked team you played.
right. Here's my schedule loaded here.
Wait, were you
Florida?
talking unranked teams?
Yeah,
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Mississippi State probably should have been ranked. Florida was ranked at one point. Not ranked when Arkansas played them. Ole Miss was the preseason number 1. They were unranked when they were in Fayetteville. I mean, like, I don't think you should penalize Arkansas for their opponents not deciding, but to suck, for lack of a better word, to suck.
Go ahead. Okay. All right, let's get into SEC standings and wrap this puppy up. Robert, you're the one with the graphics, so you talk.
I am. All right. As we mentioned earlier, Arkansas currently holds a 2-game lead over both Texas A&M and LSU. Hogs are sitting at 16-8. They've officially clinched a winning record in conference play. And another one of the graphics we saw a bunch on the broadcasts this week is that 100% of the time, SEC teams with 16 wins or more in conference play going to make the tournament. So congratulations to Arkansas. You've officially clinched a spot in the postseason.
Not officially, though.
I mean, it's all but.
I know what you're saying.
It's all but.
Okay.
Unless Arkansas is going to be the first team. Arkansas loses out and becomes the first team to ever win 16 games in the conference slate and miss the regional. Anyway, A&M, LSU 2 games back at 14-10. Keep in mind, the Aggies have the tiebreaker over the Razorbacks because they beat them 2 out of 3 in College Station. College Station, excuse me.
Yes, thank you.
LSU, the Hogs have the tiebreaker over them because they swept them in Fayetteville. Auburn's sitting 3 games back. That's another big tiebreaker to pick up for the Hogs. And then below that, you're looking at Bama and Ole Miss tied at 10-14, 6 games back.
Mississippi State at the bottom of the West now. 9 wins.
Mississippi State got swept by Florida in Starkville. So feels like they might miss the tournament at this point. I mean, they're on the verge of missing Hoover. They're 12 out of 14 teams. There's the picture. Thank you, Christian.
So Christian took a screenshot of it. If you have 16 conference wins or more in the SEC since the tournament expanded to 64 teams, 128 of those teams that had 16 or more wins, 128 of them made the NCAA tournament. So that's a 100% chance to play in the regionals. Arkansas. There you go. You did say they clinched it. Basically.
Exactly. So like I said, Mississippi State on the verge of missing Hoover at this point. It's looking like Missouri is the cellar dweller there. They're 7-17, 2 games behind both Mississippi State and Kentucky. So the Bulldogs and Wildcats are currently fighting to decide who gets that last spot in Hoover.
Okay.
Tennessee has clinched the East. Vanderbilt beat Georgia on.
Wait, Tennessee clinched the East and they lost the series?
Correct.
Oh, because
Kentucky beat Tennessee in a series, for those of you that didn't know. Volunteers have not lost a series until this weekend. So that changed. And yet Vanderbilt took 2 out of 3 from Georgia. Yep, they did. So the Bulldogs, most SEC games they can win is 19. Vols already have 20. And that means they get a top 2 seed in Hoover. I'm pretty sure they can probably clinch the number 1 seed if things go their way and things don't go Arkansas's way this week. But we'll get to that probably next episode. Like I said, Vols clinched the East. Hogs still chilling in first, just like they have been all year.
All right. Anything else to add before we get going?
Took a look at the top 25 as well. Number 1, Tennessee. I expect them to stay put just because of how dominant they've been all year. Number 2 is Oregon State, currently winning 2 out of 3 against conference foe Oregon. They're not going to move. And then for whatever reason, Oklahoma State, number 3, who's playing Southeast Missouri State on a weekend. So don't expect them to fall either. So the Hogs will probably be sitting at number 4 Monday morning.
Okay. Well, we will talk to everybody. Does the series start on Thursday?
Friday. No midweeks.
The Bama series that starts Thursday, so no midweeks.
Right. Finals week for the Hogs.
Yeah, Friday, Vandy, 6:30. We'll talk to you guys on Friday.
You've been listening to the Diamond Hogs podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Choate Mason and at drstew32.